Today on ZZZ Made Easy, we're asking the question, to spin or not to spin. Little Old Piper is our premier spin-to-win agent, but she's got quite a lot of things to think about when playing her. This guide will cover Piper's main mechanics, how to build her, and some teams you can slot Piper into. I'll also be covering her Mindscapes, and at the end of the video, we'll talk about a few additional tips. Piper is an airing physical anomaly agent from the Sons of Caledon. Because two anomalies active at the same time trigger disorder, it's good to have multiple anomaly agents for team building. Piper can serve as a more on-foot agent, but her spinning EX special is one of the fastest anomaly applying moves. As an easier to get A rank, this makes Piper a good agent to build to play off your shiny S rank anomaly agents. While her spin to win move is her main draw, Piper has a good amount of decision making involved in her playstyle, and makes her quite rewarding to play when everything flows smoothly together. Before we begin, a quick refresher on the physical anomaly. Our goal with Piper is to fill the physical anomaly bar by hitting the enemy, and this triggers one proc of damage called Assault. That is where the majority of Piper's damage comes from. For the next 10 seconds, the enemy will be in a flinch state. They will take 10% more dazed for 10 seconds, but no additional damage will be happening. The main way for Piper to build up physical anomaly will be from her Tire Spin special attack. Hold the special button and Piper will go through 3 charge levels. After hitting level 3, Piper will eventually transition into a downward slam attack. If you stay spinning while Piper has 60 energy, the level 3 charge will instead turn into Piper's EX special called Engine Spin. This is designated by a sound cue, a small flash, and Piper will start consuming energy. She consumes 20 energy per second of spinning, and she can do the EX spin for 3 seconds. Piper is able to move while spinning, and she gains increased anti-interrupt level with 40% damage reduction. Going back to the downward slam after spinning, this is called 1 trillion tons for Piper's regular special. There are 3 finisher variations based on the charge level. If you just tap special, Piper's going to do a half spin into the level 1 trillion tons finisher. Piper's 3 charge levels may be a bit tough to differentiate, but you can tell which stage she is at based on the finisher. For level 1, Piper's going to slam down from her left side. Level 2, she slams down from the right side. For the level 3 finisher, Piper does an aerial combo. I'll showcase it later, but do note all of the 1 trillion ton finishers have iframes. When Piper's doing her EX spin, this only happens at level 3 charge. Therefore, there is only one finisher from the EX spin. This is called Really Heavy, although I'm going to add a slam to the end of that name. For 1 trillion tons and Really Heavy Slam, Piper can release the special button to initiate this moves early. Really Heavy Slam will automatically happen after Piper spins for 3 seconds, or if she reaches 20 energy on her bar. This is because Really Heavy Slam costs 20 energy. If Piper starts EX spinning at 60 energy, she can only spin for 2 seconds before Really Heavy Slam happens. If you want a full EX special cast, you need to start with 80 energy. With that being said, it's going to be pretty rare for Piper to do the full 3 seconds of spinning. Energy management is an important aspect for Piper. As a vital part of her kit, Piper's spin moves are involved with her core passive. When her EX spin or ultimate hits an enemy, Piper gains 1 stack of power. This is tracked in the upper left under Piper's portrait. Power can go up to 20 stacks and it lasts for 12 seconds. Repeated triggers will refresh the timer. For every stack of power, Piper gains 4% physical anomaly buildup rate. This is at core passive level F. Doing some basic math, at 20 stacks, Piper's going to get 80% anomaly buildup rate. That is pretty huge. Faster anomaly buildup means more assault triggers, which equals more damage. Piper needs to rev the engine a little, but once warmed up, she can start building up anomaly very fast. The main downside is that 12-second timer. Not super short, but also not a guarantee Piper can re-enter an EX spin within that time frame. Managing energy also ties into Piper's additional ability. This activates with another physical agent or a Sons of Caledon member. If Piper has 20 stacks of power, all squad members gain plus 18% damage. If you plan to play Piper with a second anomaly ally, this is an awesome ability to have. However, it all comes back to being able to refresh stacks of power with the EX special spin. Since energy is vital for Piper, she can accelerate her energy gains with some on-field fighting. Piper's basic attack string consists of 4 parts. The 4th string will put Piper in the air, and she has iframes during this move. It's fairly easy to use for dodging. For her dash attack, Piper would do 2 swings, an uppercut into a downward slash. Piper's dodge counter is a simple combo of hits ending with a downward slam. You need to get familiar with Piper's on-field moves because these can be comboed into her EX special spin. These also work for her regular spin, but for demonstration purposes, I'll be showcasing when Piper has at least 60 energy. First off, after pressing the basic attack button, one time if you hold special, Piper starts the charge level 2 spin. You can tell it's level 2 because if you just tap special, Piper will immediately go into the level 2 finisher, which has her slashing from the right side. When I say one basic attack input into special equals level 2 spin, I literally mean any move where you press basic attack one time. This includes Piper's dash attack and dodge counter. This also applies to Piper's quick assist because they uses the same animation as the dodge counter. The only time where this one basic input into level 2 spin doesn't apply is to Piper's defensive assist follow-up. If you try to spin after the follow-up attack, Piper just starts at level 1. No big deal, because we don't care about level 2. Piper wants the level 3 spin, which is her EX spin if you have the energy. To skip to the charged level 3 spin, it's quite complicated, so stay with me. You need to press 2 basic attack inputs and then special. Once again, I literally mean any 2 basic attack button presses. First basic into second basic into special starts the level 3 spin. Even though it's not instant, if you were just to tap special with 60 energy, Piper's gonna automatically do the EX finisher. Now you can press basic attack 3 times then special, and the same level 3 spin will also happen. This is good to know because almost all of Piper's other moves skip to her 3rd basic if you keep attacking. Like before, after a dash attack, keep attacking to do Piper's 3rd basic. From here you can start the level 3 spin. After a dodge counter, do a basic attack, then level 3 spin. This also applies to Piper's quick assist. Returning back to Piper's defensive assist follow-up. After the follow-up, press basic attack to do the 3rd basic, then special for the level 3 spin. Reaching Piper's EX special spin is the main goal since it builds stacks of power and does great anomaly buildup. However, the EX really heavy slam finisher is another big part of Piper's kit. It does a ton of anomaly, but since it comes in one huge chunk, you don't want to use it when the anomaly bar is almost full. The extra anomaly buildup doesn't carry over, so you want to spin until the anomaly bar is around half to 3/4 full, release special to do the really heavy slam, and Piper can trigger assault. Depending on the enemy, how many stacks of power Piper has, and anomaly mastery stat, the timing on unleashing really heavy slam is going to change. Figuring out when to spin with basic attack shortcuts and how long to spin before doing the finisher gives Piper her gameplay depth. It's a fun minigame of its own, but aggressive enemies are going to make this a tough challenge. Even though spinning like a Blade is fun, it being tied to Piper's core passive and additional ability can be a hindrance. Before we discuss some tips for combat, I want to go over Piper's Mindscapes because they are almost entirely quality of life improvements regarding the spin. The one major gameplay change is from Mindscape 1. When doing her regular special, her EX special, or during her ultimate, Piper has a 50% chance to gain an additional stack of power. The power stack limit also increases to 30 stacks. Piper's a fellow gacha gambler, so for every hit from her spinning moves, she can get another stack of power if she wins the 50-50. This is great for faster stack buildup, and the increase of 30 stacks means Piper can now get plus 120% anomaly buildup rate with core passive level F. Another 40% buildup rate is pretty crazy, but M1's new gameplay addition is that you can gain stacks with Piper's regular level 1 and level 2 spins. It's a 50-50 chance, but this add-on does provide another tactic we can utilize. I'll come back to this in just a bit. Continuing with Mindscape 2, Piper gets faster movement speed while spinning. This is good for dealing with spread out mobs or bosses that shift around. In addition, when Piper lands her 1 trillion tons finisher, the EX really heavy slam finisher, or the finisher from the ultimate, these moves gain 10% physical damage. For each stack of power Piper has, you add another plus 1% damage. As a reminder, physical damage bonuses are going to apply to Piper's assault triggers. Because these finishers deal a good chunk of anomaly buildup, you can get up to 40% extra damage for the portion they account for, if you get that new 30 stacks max. For Mindscape 6, Piper gets to spin for 2 seconds longer, and the timer of her power stacks is increased by 4 seconds. This means Piper can now do her EX spin for 5 seconds. It's gonna cost 100 energy, and if you do really heavy slam, then that's the entire 120 energy bar. While funny, generally not something you're gonna be doing in actual combat. The more important feature of M6 is the power stack timer now lasting for 16 seconds. I think anyone who's playing Piper and trying to keep her stacks refreshed would agree that the 4 extra seconds actually make a difference. It's not a fancy M6 like Lucy's, but this is a great Mindscape to have regardless. Last up, Mindscape 4 is very basic. When anyone triggers an anomaly on Piper's team, she gets 20 extra energy. This can happen every 30 seconds. Free energy for literally doing damage should be self-explanatory. Piper has a fair bit to think about, so let's talk about some tips for combat. With Mindscape 1, Piper can use her weaker level 1 or level 2 spins to just refresh power stacks timer. If you bring Piper back onto the field and you see power's about to run out, you can just start spinning. It's RNG, but you only need 1 stack of power to refresh the entire timer. This scenario can happen often after like a chain attack sequence. Another way to preserve stacks is with Ultimate, the initial hits grant power stacks. You don't want to use Ultimate when the anomaly bar is almost full. It only triggers Assault at the very end, similar to the spinning finishers. As a side note, Piper's Ultimate sometimes stops tracking enemies, meaning you can end up hitting nothing at the end. Probably not intended, but unfortunately this does mean you may miss out on anomaly buildup. For Piper's general gameplay, considering and gaining energy are important to keep on EX spinning. Leveling Piper's core passive gives her some extra energy regen, but you don't need to build all energy regen via W engines or drive discs. While you can do 2 basics into the level 3 spin, you could take the time to do the 3rd basic, then spin for slightly more energy gains. If you don't need to refresh power stacks immediately, Piper's 4th basic not only has iframes, but it does get a good amount of energy. Since most of Piper's other moves skip to the 3rd basic, you have a lot of opportunities to do the 4th basic just for energy. Speaking of not wanting to do something, it's good to know that you can cancel the EX really heavy slam finisher by dodging while Piper does her EX spin. A good example of when to cancel the finisher is on small enemies. Let's say you apply a different anomaly with an ally, then you swap in Piper. Her EX spin can trigger disorder and maybe the mom's already dead. Doing really heavy slams is just a waste of 20 energy at this point. Because the finisher happens as soon as you release the special button, the timing to cancel the finisher is pretty tight. I honestly still struggle with it occasionally on controller. For Mindscape 2, Piper gets bonus damage on her finishing slams. Let's say Piper starts her level 3 spin and is close to an assault proc. Instead of doing the finisher early, just keep spinning. Piper can trigger assault, then use the finisher for the next anomaly trigger. In a similar vein, you can swap early while Piper spins and she automatically does the finisher. She's safer since she has iframes while in the air, but the main purpose of swapping early is to not trigger assault. Only the active agent can trigger anomalies with a few exceptions. If you want to trigger assault, you need to stick with Piper until she lands. Otherwise, swap in your second anomaly agent, have them apply their anomaly first, then Piper can come back in for the quick disorder trigger. You can repeat this process or just have Piper stick around to get another assault proc before trying to set up disorder again. When you play disorder teams, you need to be very flexible and mindful of when your anomaly triggers are occurring. There are quite a lot of W engine choices starting with Piper's A-ring signature, Roaring Rhyme. It has a 25% attack main stat and every time an EX special hits a foe, Piper gains 1 of 3 buffs randomly for 5 seconds. This can be either 8% attack, 40 anomaly proficiency, or 25% anomaly build-up rate. You can trigger this effect every 0.3 seconds, which also refreshes the timer. The effects aren't going to stack, meaning Piper can get all 3 effects with just 1 second of EX spinning. This is a fantastic W engine for Piper, but if you can't get the EX spin off, then no buffs. The effects also only last for 5 seconds after spinning, so it's very reliant on getting the spin off before doing basic attacks or just using chain attack or ultimate. A similar craftable A-ring W engine is Rainforest Gourmet, 75 AP main stat, and for every 10 energy you use, you get 2.5% attack in combat for 10 seconds. This can stack up to 10 times, which costs 100 energy. Slightly longer buff timer, but you need to spin for longer to max out the buff, which may not be optimal gameplay-wise. If you plan to run Disorder as a team, Weeping Gemini may be easier to utilize. Another craftable A-ring, this one with a 25% attack main stat. You can get 30 anomaly proficiency whenever an anomaly is triggered, and this stacks up to 4 times. The effect only ends when you stun a foe or if they die. Since Disorder teams don't really run a stunner generally, you can get the stacking AP boost for longer. If you have Refinement 5 for Weeping Gemini, the buff becomes plus 48 AP per anomaly trigger. You can very easily get more AP than Rainforest Gourmet with a single Disorder setup. Now the last A-ring anomaly option is the Battle Pass Electro Lip Gloss, very solid all-arounder, 75 AP main stat, and if any foe has active anomaly, you get 10% attack with 15% damage against that foe. Standard anomalies last for 10 seconds, so you can think of that as the timer for the buffs. Piper has great A-rank options, but I want to touch on 2 S-rank W engines. Grace's signature, Fusion Compiler, is just from the standard gacha. I don't own it, but from my understanding, Piper's spin moves should activate its condition for an easy 75 AP. As for Jane's signature, Sharpened Stinger, a single perfect dodge grants 36% physical damage and 40% anomaly buildup, and incredibly easy to activate with any on-field time. For Drive Disc, Piper wants the typical anomaly agent main stats, anomaly proficiency in Partition 4, physical damage in Partition 5, and anomaly master in Partition 6. You can run percent attack in any slot if you don't have a better option. Fusion Compiler with Rena teams could run pen ratio in Partition 5. While energy regen is important, Piper gets some by leveling her core passive. Anomaly Mastery is going to increase the anomaly buildup of all of her moves. For Drive Disc sets, there are 2 options, and I've played with both for a while. In theory, Freedom Blues is something Piper likes. 2-piece gives 30 AP, and the 4-piece reduces the foe's anomaly buildup resistance to the element of the equipper when you hit them with an EX special. Freedom Blues can make it easier to trigger Assault quickly for say Disorder teams, but personally I don't think it's a must-have. With full power stacks and her signature, Piper has a lot of extra anomaly buildup rate. Freedom Blues can work, but you most likely need a stronger Disorder partner to make up some damage. There could be a niche use case for setting up another damage dealer using Fanged Metal. Speaking of Fanged Metal, 10% physical damage, and the 4-piece states, when assault is inflicted on an enemy, Equipper gets 35% damage to that foe for 12 seconds. If you trigger Assault, then swap off of Piper, you aren't benefiting from Fanged Metal. You need to proc Assault, then keep attacking within 12 seconds. Outside of just pure on-field carrying, this is a 4-piece that benefits from some planning, which your anomaly triggers. For a Disorder team, you can fill the physical anomaly bar most of the way, have an ally trigger their anomaly first, then bring Piper to quickly trigger Assault plus Disorder. Fang Metal is now active, so you can get 35% damage while you build up the next assault. We don't need to trigger another assault within 12 seconds, anomalies will save your damage buffs and accounts for how much of the bar you filled with said buffing. Piper can just repeat the process for Disorder, but depending on your team, you can also go for the back-to-back assault procs too. For accompanying sets, 4-piece Fang Metal can go with 2-piece Freedom Blues or Cash Jazz for the extra anomaly proficiency. You can use 2-piece Swing Jazz for a little more energy regen. Faithen's Melody gives 8% Anomaly Mastery. We can get Anomaly Proficiency substats, but not Energy Regen or Anomaly Mastery. If you have exceptional substat rolls, then feel free to use the other 2-piece sets. As the only A-rank Anomaly agent at the time of this video, Piper is good to build because she can act as the second Anomaly in a Disorder team. Her all-right on-fielding fighting combined with her quick Anomaly build-up from spinning makes her a flexible option. Staying within the Sons of Caledon, Piper's Disordered buddy is Bernice. She's the most off-field type Anomaly agent we have, meaning Piper gets more on-field time to shine. That means more energy gains for spinning, so this is a very fun team to play. You can run Caesar, but Lucy can help Bernice with Fire Anomaly build-up, plus both Piper and Bernice's EX specials can repeatedly trigger Lucy's Mindscape 6 bores. Lucy's ultimate can also help Bernice with energy problems. Now Caesar is a great teammate because her strong shield and increased anti-threat level are perfect for Piper to face tank hits, so she can start spinning. In modes where you don't get one shot, then it's a fair tactic to trade HP for damage. Not the best team, but you can do Piper with Pulchra. Flinch increases days slightly, but generally Anomaly teams aren't running with stunners. With M6 Pulchra and Piper's additional ability, you can get a decent % damage boost for everyone on the team. I can see the vision for a Disorder team with that in mind, but you're probably just better off with Lucy instead. For some okay teammates, Grace is the standard gacha S-rank anomaly, so a good amount of players can run Grace with Piper for a basic Disorder team. Sadly, there is no physical agent from Bellabong and no Electric Sons of Caledon member. This means you cannot get Grace and Piper's additional abilities active at the same time. For Grace, you need Seth Arena. For Piper, you need Lucy or Caesar. You wouldn't get either additional ability, but Astra is another option and quite fun with this team in my opinion. The quick assist swapping makes this pair pretty nice to play. Since Assault does all its damage in one go, Piper can be played as a solo damage dealer utilizing Fang Metal's 4-piece set. If you run Seth, he can buff Piper's Anomaly Proficiency and act as a discount Jane team. You can also use M6 Pulchra in Seth's place and then slot in your support of choice. Besides Bernice or Grace, Piper can work with Miyabi and Yanagi. For Yanagi, you can run Lucy or Caesar. Personally, I like Piper with Miyabi more, but you have to use Lucy to trigger Miyabi's support agent condition from her additional ability. Lucy is a good fit for this team with an Anomaly build because Disorder triggers give Miyabi stacks for his Shimotsuki move. The level 3 Shimotsuki can stun lock bosses, and that gives Piper an opening to spin. Honestly, Miyabi is busted, but this team is actually quite synergistic and nice to play. Not released at the time of this video, but we know Vivian is an Ether Anomaly agent. Decent chance Piper will be fine with Vivian on a team as well. For the after party tips section, let's start with Piper's iframe moves since I said I would showcase them. If you tap special, it's a bit tough to time since Piper does a little half spin first, but that downward slam level 1 finisher can iframe through attacks. Same goes for the level 2 spin, you have to be spinning already or you have to do a move that involves one basic attack input. Now the regular and EX level 3 finishers both have Piper in the air. This air time makes her invulnerable. Timing when to release special is pretty easy for the level 3 finishers, just be ready to dodge after Piper comes back down. Since Piper has iframes on her finishing moves after spinning, why don't we just spin all the time? It does alright anomaly build up and it doesn't take a ton of time to get to the level 3 charge. Well, you can, but doing regular special spinning does not build energy. It can refresh power stacks with Mindscape 1, but you really want to do basic attacks with Piper to get energy back. Iframing attacks with the finisher is cool, but doing a dodge counter instead actually gives energy. With that being said, if you do end up iframing an attack with 1 trillion tons, then Piper can follow the level 1 and 2 finishers with her 3rd basic attack. That can lead into a proper EX spin or a 4th basic for energy. Unfortunately, the level 3 finishers both require Piper to restart her basic attack chain from the beginning. For another tactic, you can perfect assist while Piper is spinning. This is going to give her full protection as she does her finisher. You can also use this for on-the-fly disorder tactics if you want to save Piper's assault trigger for later. Speaking of perfect assist, Piper is the only anomaly agent with a stronger defensive assist parry, meaning she will only consume 1 assist point. Anomaly agents usually have decent build-up on their perfect assist moves. We can turn our defensive agent swap into an offensive opportunity, and Piper can save you assist points, allowing you to do this more often. Even though she's only an A rank, Piper is a very impressive anomaly agent. She can build up anomaly quickly via her EX spin, but you need to find the right opportunity to get those spins off safely. Some matchups are unfortunately just rough for Piper. No EX spins means no power stacks, and losing the extra anomaly build-up means Piper loses momentum in the fight. In shield defense or deadly assault, don't be afraid to tank hits while spinning. There is no metric for HP loss, so if brute forcing a spin to help trigger assault helps you clear faster, then it's worth the trade-off. For modes like the battle tower though, where you take heavy damage and you have to fight multiple times in a row, this isn't really a viable tactic. It can be a bit rough for little old Piper. Regardless, Piper should be worth building unless you've managed to summon Jane or nearly all of the limited S-rank anomaly agents. The more anomaly agents you have, the more disordered teams you can create. Piper can work a more on-foot role for agents like Bernice. She can also be a serviceable disordered trigger partner for stronger carries like Miyabi. That's all I have to say about Piper. Have fun winning while spinning, but don't get too dizzy. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.